Heyo, my Planet Coaster friends, Johnny5 Alive here. We're back with another episode of Yeti Land. And in today's video, we're gonna be building a ride skin for the Bumpin Derpy called the Bumpin Derpy. So stay tuned and let's check it out. All right, so the ride skin for the Bumpin Derpy, which we're calling the Bumpin Derpy, is. The whole concept behind this is kind of like a Mad Max cage fighting thing, and all the Yetis are going to be gathering around it, kind of like shaking the cage and hanging off the cage, and the guests are inside basically battling each other. So it's their way of entertainment, and this is going to go inside of the Yeti Land cave, inside of Betsy Mama Yeti's cave. So this is the ride skin surprise that I've been talking about for a long time in previous episodes, and we're going to try and make it as pretty as possible. Now, you guys are going to watch the footage while I rant about something else. So, as I mentioned in the last episode, the Yeti Land scenario is up. Now, what I've discovered by putting this scenario up, it's my first time uploading a scenario map, and what I have discovered is you can't do scenarios in Planet Coaster. It's essentially a sandbox park that you get to finish. So you can't play Yeti Land with money restrictions and management restrictions. You can't open up Yeti Land and go, all right, I'm starting with $0 and I have to try and get Yeti Land into a functioning park. As of right now, it's technically not a scenario map. It's just a sandbox map that you guys get to finish. Now, it's a bit disappointing. However, I feel like they're gonna have to fix it. So we're gonna spend this episode talking about, well, not this whole episode, but we're gonna spend some time right now talking about that and what my discovery was. So I went into my downloaded maps, and it shows there's challenge mode maps in my downloads. So I looked at them and I was like, how did they do it? And then I looked on the forums and I looked online. Well, they did it because they started on challenge mode. So if I wanted to get Yeti Land as a challenge mode map, I would have to trick the game. So as of right now, we're going to talk about how you would do that. So I start Yeti Land on a challenge mode map. So I have to earn my money. Now, I can't remember if sculpting terrain costs money in this game. I assume it does. It did in RCT3. I don't know exactly. I mean, I played career mode, and I think I remember changing the terrain cost money. And from the looks of things, I think it did. And that means if I were to sculpt Darla and Frank and the whole map, it would have cost me a whole boatload of money, which is quite ridiculous. So nonetheless, if it's free, I would have been able to sculpt the map, but I wouldn't have been able to build Darla. I wouldn't have been able to build the pit. I wouldn't have been able to make the Yeti army, because all those things cost money. So in some cases, if you wanted to build a challenge mode park, what you would do is you would open up an empty map and you would make a park that generates a bunch of money, like the ugliest park ever, put down food shops, rides, a couple default coasters, and like literally put it on fast forward and go to bed. You're gonna wake up in the morning with millions of dollars, and then now you have millions of dollars to build your park. So from there, you build everything you want. So you build Yeti Land and you get it to where you need it, and hopefully you have enough money to get you there. And then once you're done and you're like, I'm ready to upload this challenge park, you don't want to upload it to a point where people have that millions of dollars. So somehow you have to bankrupt yourself. So I guess you could let rides get old and then keep spending money to refurbish them, or you could just spend it, like put down a coaster and delete it. I don't know, maybe because it refunds a bit of money, but not all of it. So you would like put down a coaster, delete it, put down a coaster and delete it. Do that like literally a million times until you're bankrupt. And now you save out the scenario, and people download that and they have no money. They have the scenario map, everything's good, and they have to challenge themselves to beat it. The problem with that is you're going to upload it, and your rides are going to be like 82 years old, and nobody's going to want to ride them. So you're going to have to replace all the rides before you, and by that time, the coasters that you built, like Darla, the custom coasters, they're going to be like expired. They're going to be in such bad condition that they're going to be breaking down all the time, and it defeats the whole point. Like what the game needs and what the game doesn't have is, hey, you downloaded Yeti Land, it's year one, you know, like there it is. Now get started, start earning money and see what you can do with this scenario. I'm absolutely blown away that the game doesn't have this feature. And I went into this map assuming that this game did have the feature, because when I built a park, Good Golly Miss Molly, I did it on career mode. And when I finished, it gave me two options. It said you can convert this to a challenge park, or you can convert this to a sandbox park. And I was like, oh great, this game has that feature. So when I went to build Yeti Land, I assumed it would give me the same options. Well, no, it only gives you those options for career mode parks. It does not give you those options for sandbox parks. So once it's a sandbox park, you can never convert it to a challenge mode park. And the only way to make challenge mode parks is to convert career mode parks. But nobody wants to play career mode parks. I don't understand it. So like I said, you could start the whole thing on challenge mode and then upload it when you're done, and people will get the challenge mode park and they can convert it to a sandbox if they want, or they can keep it as a challenge mode park, which makes no sense because somebody's technically already played the challenge. I want like a fresh, like year one challenge mode park. So this is completely disappointing. And another thing to top it off, like I was looking at this before, if you take a career mode park or whatever and you convert it to challenge mode park, or you load it up on challenge mode, it doesn't ask you what difficulty you want. It just loads you into normal. Like, it doesn't say what mode would you like. So the only way you can play hard mode challenge map is if you go and into the game, say I want to play challenge mode, and you pick a blank map and you pick the hard difficulty. And that's it. That's like the only way to do it. But the problem with that is you're on a completely flat oasis. Like, you now have to spend all the time sculpting and making, you know, the park the way you want it before, or like the landscape the way you want it, and the little scenario bits the way you want it. Because like in career mode, every career map has things built that cost money to build. So like the new festive maps, they have little gingerbread towns. All that stuff costs money. But you can't build that stuff into your scenario map unless you've made money. So there's like, the challenge mode isn't even an ideal challenge mode because it's a flat map. So back in RTC 3 or RTC 1 and 2, I think the most fun I had with those games was I would open up the map editor and I would make my terrain. I'd put like one coaster down and maybe a couple shops and a couple rides, you know, I'd be making my own career level. And from there, I would essentially, at least in RTC 3, I think even 1 and 2 did this. They allowed you to choose what objectives you were. Yeah, I'm pretty sure RTC 2 had this. So you get to say, oh, I want this to be, you know, get 5,000 guests in the park by year 3, or achieve this and achieve that. And once you do all that, you have beaten the map. So in RTC 3, I would go in and I would carve this amazing map, and I'd put waterfalls in, and I'd put all these different areas where you could go build a park. Then I would give myself the hardest objectives possible, like get 10,000 guests in the park, or whatever the limit was for that engine, and make at least 5 water rides, and at least 10 coasters, and yada yada yada. And I would make it insanely hard so that it would actually take me like 100+ hours to complete the objective. And then I would go play that. And when I go play that, I had all the struggles of, hey, I have to actually earn my money. I have to do this and I have to do that. And I have to manage my park and I have to get it to a point. But I would be doing it on this awesome landscape. Like, oh, this big giant cliff that I put here, this is where I'm going to make it so, a giant coaster falls off the edge. And this giant waterfall that I put here, I'm gonna put a pool at the bottom and have a pool at the top and literally have a water slide that shoots you off the waterfall. And I did stuff like that, and I did it all with money I earned. So I had so much fun with that game, and it's not implemented in this game. And I just realizing that Frontier has missed the most important part of a roller coaster simulation game, a theme building game. You cannot make a scenario map. It's impossible at this point. Unless I'm missing something, guys, let me know in the comments. But I've pulled my hair out trying to figure this out, and it does not seem to exist. So out of all the things that I wanted in the April update, I didn't realize that this wasn't in the game currently. So this is all I want from the April update now. I want to be able to save Yeti Land out as a proper scenario. Hey, look, you're starting at year 1, you have no money, and I've given you these objectives. Like, you need to get 5,000 guests in the park, or you know, you have to earn a certain park rating, you have to earn a certain amount of income per month. And I want to put all those challenges in, and you get the bronze objective, the silver, and the gold, and maybe even a couple ones higher than that. And you literally get the little achievement and that when you complete it. And I want to package it all up, so when you guys open up Yeti Land, you're like, oh, I'm going to start building here and earning money and placing stuff there. And if you want, you can open it up in a sandbox. You have both options. Right now, you can only open it up in sandbox and just completely just start building the rest of Yeti Land, which is fine for some people, but it completely defeats the purpose of challenge. Why do they have a management system in this game if there's literally the only things that you can do are play career mode, which isn't that great, and then 2, play a flat map, a completely flat map. Open it up and it's just flat, and you have to earn money to build it to the way you want it. I want to open up a crazy map that I built in a different mode, and then just start building a park on that map and having to earn the money to place the paths and to put the monorails in and stuff like that. Or open up the map and it has maybe a monorail in there and a couple rides and maybe a couple shops. They've completely missed the mark on the most important aspect of this game, and I wish I could have given this feedback a long time ago. I'm hoping other people have been giving this feedback, and if this is not in the April update, I might just pull my hair out, guys, because to me, that's what's going to keep this game alive, is building these awesome challenge mode parks. And that's the whole point of Yeti Land. That was my goal. So I'm a little bit disappointed right now, guys. I spent the whole episode yapping about it. Here's the final result of Bumpin Derby. It's called Bumpin Derpy, and you guys are going to be... it's up on my workshop right now. You can put this in your rides, on your Bumpin Derby ride skins. It's going into the cave. You guys will see that in the next episode. So anyways, that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more daily Planet Coaster videos, and let me know what you guys think of the Bumpin Derby and everything else I talked about. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.